that I was able to do with my colleagues in different capacities, even both locally and internationally. And for me, issues that we do not bring attention to, they are not going to be dealt with. They are not going to be solved. And are you listening to me?
Sorry, can I pause you a bit, sir? I just
Yes.
realized that we have to roll over a bit. There was a little technical glitch on my end, which I just observed. So
Yeah.
let
No
me let
problem.
me restart, please. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. Wherever you want.
This is volunteer medical laboratory scientists live broadcasts, and we are live with Dr. Paul Adepoju. And we've been in the back studio before. And when I was talking, I realized that the broadcast was not live on YouTube yet. So, just a quick summary: is a renowned international medical writer. Like, when I say international, I'm not talking of Nigerian Punch newspapers or those small journals. He's well known, and he's a medical laboratory scientist, and his work actually challenges someone like me, and that is why we have brought him on board the volunteer medical laboratory scientist training weekend session. What we are actually doing is training our fellow medical laboratory scientists in order to achieve greater community impact, to have more of an impact in our communities. We want to provide compassionate care as medical laboratory scientists. And we realize that one of the things that we can use to do that is writing. Uh, Medical writing or writing for health education purposes is something that has actually changed or helped a lot of people. However, not many people know how to do it well. And Dr. Paul is an expert in that field, and that is why we have him on board today. So it's a pleasure to have you here, Dr. Paul. And apologies for the glitches we have had so far. It's been like almost 2 weeks of trying to have this session, and we're happy that we're able to have it today. So please fire on, sir.
Yes, once again, I say thank you for having me, and apologies for any glitches that is happening. You probably had everything better well said last week when I was not available. So it's to my, I'm still responsible for the glitches. So I was beginning to, I started my journey, and usually when we do this, it's always good. Presently, I work. I'm presently a writer. I think the best way for me to, for those that do not know me, is to is to really, really tell you what I currently do. Presently, I work with the International Center for Journalists, which is a network of journalists in different parts of the world, and I'm actively involved in their uh, global crisis reporting. And I started my journey in actually it was on my this announcement was made officially on my birthday in 2021 when I joined them to as a forum manager to help journalists in different parts of the world to hone their health crisis reporting during the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. And since then, considering the COVID-19 pandemic is largely here to stay, we've also expanded our training to other crises. So I currently am in charge, the community manager for the Pamela Howard Forum on Global Crisis Reporting. The forum is in different languages, and I'm the manager for the English Language Forum, which currently has over 4,000, nearly 5,000 members spread across the world. And we bring trainers on different topical issues. And so, what did I say before? Then, quick background. Currently, this link tree takes you to my current profile, which, and of course, the various platforms that I represent. I write for the Nature portfolio, whether it's Nature Medicine, Nature Africa, Nature Journal itself, and several other journals under the Nature portfolio. I also work with several medical journals with uh, the Lancet. I recently joined Scientific American. I also write for New Scientist. I've also had pieces on CNN. And so this gives you a better understanding. And something I said before was that my active step in health journalism started with a personal project of mine that is still existing today, which is healthnews.ng. It was a project that started during my undergraduate days with a colleague of mine back then before he moved on, Chibike Alagboso. We were in the same class, medlab scientists at Imo State University, and we began to have this conversation around how do we contribute, how do we improve science reporting, and how do we bring attention to topical issues that we believe deserve attention. And that's something that continues to drive me even to the present day. And why is this important to have this voice? It's really, really important for you to be able to have this voice because uh, health journalists, there are lots of health issues. There are lots of medical related issues, whether it's medical financing, whether it's infectious diseases, non communicable diseases, even health workers, lots of health workers. The attention of journalists are always around being taken from one issue to another. And so you as a person, and you think you want to make community impact within your community, it is really, really important for you to be able to bring attention to some of these key issues. And as a journalist, your work could definitely have far-reaching impact. And I always cherish, um, personally, at my current stage, I believe it's a powerful thing for you to have a powerful platform that everybody listens to. And when you are able to properly channel that, and you are able to actively engage the people around issues like that, then it becomes something that transcends beyond it. You can only talk to one person, but if you are really, really good at this health journalism thing, your words and your content can actually reach thousands or even more in different parts of the world. So that was what actually motivated me to venture into this journey. And for me, I looking at the ecosystem presently, there is still a lot of opportunities. There's still a lot of gaps to be filled. And I believe that for anybody that is actually interested in closing these very wide gaps, I think it's really, really important for you to be able to get yourself started and quickly align yourself with what you need to do. Looking at when I started, uh, I see it more as a self motivation that is also backed with passion. Self motivation with the fact that I was really, really passionate about telling particular stories. I was passionate about bringing attention to an issue, and I was lucky back then to have the ears and attention of lots of stakeholders in the health sector. Health News NG is still existing, and I think without even any engagement, without active promotion, the Twitter page has thousands of followers. The Facebook also has thousands of followers presently, and we've been able to establish lots of partnerships including with top giants like Facebook and several others, because the product that we are always selling is telling local stories by local people, local health stories by local health practitioners. So that was a market that we decided to fill. And when I decided to still more actively go into freelancing, the knowledge that I'd already gained in how to write better stories at that phase really came with me into my current endeavor. So the best way for me to describe my journey is I always see things as steps. Always see things as steps. Is one step that's going to take is the experience that you get from what you've written from your first story will take you to your next, and the experience from the next story will take you even to the next one. And that is why you always have to be patient and ask yourself, do I really want to do this thing? Is this thing what I really want to do? And how do I better monetize what I'm doing? Earlier this year, I think few months ago, a piece that I wrote for nature medicine uh, got awarded by the Association of British Science Writers. Then, during the conversations with the association, I began to imagine all everything that came into putting that piece together, the experience, the knowledge that you get along the way, the inspirations that you get along the way, the insights that you get, and everything that you are that is that nobody will teach you in school. So it's everything about how you're able to actually put yourself together. But one of the major challenges that we always have to deal with, two major challenges that I think you need to be wary of when you want to start this journey. The first thing is, can you be patient enough? For instance, when somebody, anytime anybody wants somebody, an aspiring writer comes to me, they say, "Yeah, Paul, I want to write like you do, and can you introduce me to somebody at the Lancet or the Nature or Nature? I want to be writing for Lancet." And this will be somebody that has not had any previous well-written published piece. So while your goal will be at the top, you should understand the fact that it's actually a process, a rigorous process. For me, this is a journey that spans over 10 years. And for you, so which means you should always ask yourself whether this is something that you'll be patient enough to do. When lots of money is not coming in from that endeavor, what are you still going to do to continue to fund yourself, to continue to provide the right funding that will continue to keep you going? And so that is really, really important for you to figure out, admitting and coming to terms with the fact that this is something that could take you very long for you to get to the peak, and be patient enough to see the whole thing through. When some individuals want to start and 2 months, 3 months, they are not seeing the big checks, they often want to jump to another thing. And while there are lots of opportunities, thanks to how the COVID-19 pandemic has brought attention to locally told stories, the high level of quality of work uh, has not been compromised. So the standard has to be really, really top notch. And the best way for you to just do it is just to practice more, to practice more. There was a time I organized an internship session, an internship opportunity at NG back then. We organized it, and we had people that were interested in getting content, getting started in this medical journalism career. And while we had some very serious ones, let's say we engaged like a total of 12, if I'm very correct. We had three that were really, really serious, and others that were just seeing it as part time. There was a time we introduced some providing some funds, and we soon realized that some were just interested in the money and not really getting their writing quality improved and moving on in this. So it's really, really important for you to know the fact that this is not really something that you can just get better, get good at overnight, and it's a long-term commitment, which I can really, really assure you, is really, really interesting and quite high-opening. So another thing I really want you to understand is the fact that the type of impact that you want to make is going to determine how you are going to move. It's going to guide you on choosing where to focus on. It's going to guide you on choosing the very best approach. It's also going to guide you on deciding on the kinds of people that you talk to in your career. For instance, if you if you are somebody that is passionate about probably trying to inform the people about what to do, if probably you are laser focused on an health on a health issue, and you just want to educate the general public, that is different from journalism, but there's still space for what you decide to do. I always there is this very good friend of mine, Dr. Infianyi, and he's probably one of the top. I think he was really ranked high among. He has been ranked high severally. Ifeanyi in Suffolk. And but what he does is he's an opinion person. He gives opinions and expert thoughts on issues. Those opportunities are still available if you're somebody that you think journalism may not be your thing. But if you're also somebody that still wants to actually bring attention to people, help people to better understand and understand issues, and you can also be a trainer. For instance, I remember my first during my first physical, one of the several trainings that I had, we had to engage top scientists that taught us some things about, and we were able to actually visualize some of the boring concepts that we couldn't have better understanding of. So it's really important for you to first decide on what kind of impact do you want to have. Then it's also important for you to decide at which level do you want to make this impact. For instance, if you see yourself actively interested in influencing your immediate environment, trying to get yourselves in journal in places like the Lancet or Journal or any other outlet may not be the right thing for you, may not be the right approach for you. And if you are chasing that, you may be totally ignoring where your right calling is. And if you really also want to be somebody that um, has this global perspective on issues, and you are trying to talk to local platforms, it may not still be something that you are going to be easily that may be easily achieved, even though you may need to start from the local outlets and work yourself your way up the ladder. And so this is really, really important because many individuals, when they do not get what they want, like I said, they get bored, they get discouraged, and they actually leave, even though they were very good, even though their visions are very, very valid. So what I will always advise you to do is come to terms with those two things. That you have to be patient enough, and you also have to admit that this is a journey. And for me, I remember back then, I actually after the web platform, then I also began to reach out to um, news newspaper outlets in Nigeria, where the newspapers rarely have that enough resources or financial resources to say, okay, you want to write for us, we are going to give you these lots of money. If you are looking up to them for money like that, you may not have the right of, you may not get the right opportunities. I cannot even count the number of, I cannot even count the number of times. Mm. Hi, Micah.
Hey, Paul, how are you?
I'm fine. Can you give me like 5 minutes or 10 minutes? I'm on another call presently.
No, you must hang up now.
Yeah, sorry.
I'll just hang out here if you want to come back whenever you.
Yeah, I'll do that. Thank you very much. Yeah, sorry, that's one of my editors. So, we when one trick I always advise you to do is while these top news outlets do not have that large money to give you, they actually have the platform to provide to you to amplify your voice and to hone to polish your skills. And so it's not a bad thing. Since this session is all about making impact, it's not a bad thing for you to actually reach out and be ready to do many things for free. But the good thing about it is, let's say you're able to get a well-written story in Tribune. Let's say you're able to get a written story in the Guardian. There are lots of health platforms too. Nigeria Health Watch is there. Health News NG is there. Lots of these now reputable news outlets. So if you are interested in starting your career, these are the places that I would actively encourage you to reach out to. Whatever they offer you, let's agree know that this is the beginning of your writing career, such that because in this profession, what is really going to speak more for you would be the draft, the samples, your previously written articles. That is something that you are going to really enjoy working with, and it's not a certificate. It's all about what have you done. It's all about where you've worked before, and that those are the kinds of stuff that I think would really go a long way in improving your career and getting you to the next level. So, in conclusion, see medical journalism for you to make the right impact as a journey is a stepwise study, one step after another. The opportunity you get today will connect you to the next opportunity. But you should always understand that your vision and the goal of what you really want to achieve with it will be the thing that will continue to drive you until you get to the peak. Will I say I've gotten to the peak? I will still say no. I still have a lot of things that I desire to still accomplish in this, and I'm lucky to work with lots of top uh, media and science and health athletes across the world. But I still have a lot of new visions, new goals that I desire to achieve. So, which means if me, with the level that I am, still feels like there's still more to do, if you're just starting this journey, don't think this is a journey that is going to finish anytime soon. But the only thing I can assure you is if you submit yourself to the process, if you have desire for top quality, if you have that passion to tell really good stories and bring attention to issues, the right people will listen to you, people will pay attention to you, and doors of opportunities will open unto you. So thank you very much for having me, and I hope you've been able to gain one or two things from what I've been able to share. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for joining us today. And it's been a pleasure listening to you. I actually loved one aspect where you talked about find your focus. If you know that you want to write for community engagement, maybe in your local community, then it's different from actually doing writing in academic journals or in maybe high impact journals. But there is one question I would like to ask you, that in talking about writing either for community engagement or even for education on the larger scale, how do we address the issue of false content, or should I say all these, copy and paste contents that are not factually accurate? There is a lot of that on WhatsApp, on Facebook, on different platforms, where you find yourself having a headache just reading what people are actually, posting, and it's going viral. Is it better to address it via social media, or do you think it's better to address it via other platforms? What are your thoughts around that area? And then how can medical laboratory scientists tackle, that menace, that challenge?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Misinformation and disinformation are really great threats to health issues and health communication in the present age. And this is a question that everybody is also trying to ask, not just you, not just me, but even the big tech themselves. It's much easier for fake news to go viral than real news. And it's also easy for people to, sometimes it's much easier for, we still don't understand why people would believe ridiculous stuff. Look at during the time of Ebola, when somebody said people should be drinking salt water and having bath with salt water, that would cure Ebola. As ridiculous as that sounded back then, many people actually went with that. And unfortunately, with increasing polarization and creation of echo chambers that people do not are reluctant to actually reach out, it shows the burden, the challenge that we do face. However, even when the tech tech structure is still not completely perfect, there are still some things that you can do. There are still some things that you can do to actually make some difference. And one of this is you just have to be an authoritative voice. First and foremost, you have to be an authoritative voice on these issues. And that is one of the benefits that somebody like me enjoy. For instance, if you look at my personal Facebook page and Twitter pages, they are verified. So one of the things you can do is, if you can be a verified source, then another thing that I always do is, even in WhatsApp, when people post misinformation, there are groups that I belong to, uh, is I always try as much as possible to push people to verified sources. It's so easy to know a verified source, and it's just like the right prompt. For instance, if somebody says, oh, this is what is happening, the first thing I ask that kind of person is, where did you source this content from? Where did you see it? And let that person know that using verified sources, that is actually wrong. For instance, if I read a message, a post that is so outrageous, in most cases, those posts are always usually copied and pasted. So ordinary copying and running a Google check, you will be able to track the original source of that misinformation. Now you can actually show the person that is sharing it that, look at where you are copying something from. Have you seen, if the Nigerian Ministry of Health is the one behind this message, don't you think they are going to put it officially on their website or on their social media handles? And for you as a person, I think that is a role that you have to do. And you don't have to be a reliable, and you don't have to be an internationally acknowledged health spokesperson for you to be able to convince people. But there is that person that is sending that stuff to you. That is always where I always start from. Most of the time, I always it's one of the ways for you to get me to talk in groups, especially when I have time. Just post something that is misinforming. I always have that affinity to actually enlighten, educate you, and inform you. So that's what I think we should do. We should not share news. We should not share content that we are not absolutely sure of, and we should always know that any news that is really, really outrageous, if it's true, it will not just be published by just one outlet. Other verified sources will also pick them up. So that is how, and you should also be good. I know how to do simple Google search. Tell people, okay, run a Google search. Show us where this is, the other platforms are where this stuff is coming out from. And so that's what I think we can do for now, while the tech ecosystem deals with its own problem of being more able to let misinformation go viral than truth.
Thank you, sir. You have shared quite a bit about how to tackle false information. And to recap, for those who joined late, it's actually been wonderful listening to him talk about medical writing. He has talked about the different types and the fact that you need to have patience and be committed, have a focus on what you want to achieve. And the broadcast stream will still be shared so that we can of course, watch later. But what I would want to ask her is, for anyone who is interested in going in the line you're going currently, what advice would you have for them? Like, if there's anyone in the group who wants to write on an international scale and do medical journalism the way you're doing it, is there any tip or any, should I say, setback that you want them to avoid so that they can have, a better journey based on your own experience? Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you very much. The first advice that I would give you is um, always don't look for shortcuts. It's not good for you to take shortcuts. Copying and pasting is not something that is going to get you anywhere in this career. You have to have this personal passion for quality. You have to have a personal affinity for diligence, and you also have to be actively involved in ensuring that the right information that is unique and that is also true is passed there. Everybody cannot be saying this, everybody cannot be saying the same thing. You should always find a way to stand out. And also, don't let your only focus be on getting on top international platforms alone. Because if that is the only thing that you are looking for, that even before you start writing, how do I get my first article in in this top journal is what you are looking for, then you are going to miss the right steps that you are supposed to take. And the right step that you are supposed to take, like I said, it's a journey. I always see it as, like I said, ladder. You know, when you are trying to climb up the ladder, you put your foot on one, then you go to another, you go from one step foot to another. So you just need to start. How far you are going to go is a factor of how quickly you are able to start. If you want to get to, you need lots of writing samples. You need lots of top quality writing samples. So start with any available media outlet that you can have access to. Your goal may be the best journals in the world, so you can, but your journey may start with the smallest publication in your hometown. So by the time, you can't be a really good writer if you are not writing. You can't just say you want to be a top health journalist without even doing anything, by just saying you just want to be. So my advice for you is and accept the fact that you are going to be on, it's going to be a journey, and accept the fact that you are going to keep your eyes open on opportunities. More than your certificate, your writing samples are really what would really open doors for you. So that is what you really need to do: get your writing samples out in publications that have editors that can actually criticize and help you polish and publish your pieces. You cannot say you want to be a health journalist and they'll ask you for your writing samples, but what you can produce will be Twitter threads or Facebook posts. No, you should have been able to get, especially when you are somebody that you are resourceful, you are popular, people listen to you. You should have been able to get those kind of pieces in a publication or the other. Then another thing I think you should also know is you should know the difference between an opinion piece and a journalistic piece. When you are writing an opinion, it's your own opinion, but that is not journalism. Although opinion is also published in news outlets, but that is not the core of independent journalism that we are trying to do. So you should always endeavor that you know what you're trying to do. And one of those tips that I'm going to give you, one of the advice I'm going to give you is, you can only be a better writer when you are really good at reading. The kinds of stuff that you desire to be writing, be reading them. By the time you want to, for me back then, I was reading a lot of Ruben Abati when he was at Guardian. Every time when I went over the weekend, he publishes a column on Thursday and on Sunday. So which means 2 times in a week I'm reading newspapers. So I was reading stuff, and by the time I did it for several months, the way I also construct my PC, I was constructing my pieces in my head back then, greatly improved. So you can read more. Don't be, if you're somebody that is bored at reading, trust me, you're going to get even more bored when you're trying to write. You just have to love reading, and that is how you improve. Know that this is a long process, but it's going to be fun. And the earlier you start your journey and getting samples, the quicker you can start getting money from your endeavors. So, but it's an exciting journey. I won't lie to you. Opportunities exist for more people like yours that really want to write, and the sky is always there for you to decide whether it will be your limit or your starting point. So, thank you very much.
You very much. And this is where we'll be ending today's live stream. Thank you very much for joining us, sir, and for working with your very tight schedule to be on this broadcast. And I hope that you will continue to support the work we are doing at Volunteer Medical Laboratory Scientists. We are medical laboratory scientists for community, and we are doing it not for money, but to ensure that we improve the lives of members of our community with our skills as medical laboratory scientists. It's been a pleasure having you, and thank you once more. And do enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Yeah,
Bye.
thanks for inviting me, and the rest everybody enjoy the rest of the day, and we'll chat later. Congratulations on everything, and good luck. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.
All right. Bye, sir. Okay. The next edition will probably be in our Facebook group. But then, until then, uh, till I come your way again, my name is Onoluwa Abimbola. And thank you very much for everyone who joined us, our president, Emmanuel Koda, Odinaka, and I can see some other people, Adewumi, some other people who did not allow StreamYard to see their names. Thank you to everyone who joined us, and to enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye. Okay.